If you're watching this, you are most likely nearing a crossroad in your career. Also, you've obviously been very successful or Credent wouldn't be talking with you. So congratulations. I've been where you are, and it's an exciting and frightening place to be. Allow me to share my experience in hopes that it might help you navigate the next phase of your life. 50 years ago, I graduated from a small college in a small town in Kansas. College was fun. I played football, ran track, was student body president, fraternity president, all that stuff. After my sophomore year, I married this gorgeous blue-eyed blonde. And by graduation, we were expecting our first child, and I was looking for a job. I was contacted by a man in another city who had heard about me and wanted to discuss a career opportunity with me. I hadn't thought much about career, and I definitely hadn't done any career planning, so I was intrigued. After taking a battery of tests and going through 4 interviews with him, he offered me a career that he said was fascinating, challenging, and rewarding. He said it was fascinating in that you would be selling ideas. It was challenging because you were working with a wide variety of people, but he said it was going to be rewarding in 2 different ways. 1, you could earn a lot of money, and 2, you could make a significant difference in the lives of others. What could it be? The job was to be an agent for New York Life in the little small town that we lived. You're probably thinking, I was really naive, and you'd be 100% right. The plan was for me to learn the basics of how to sell for the first couple of years and then move to his city and become his assistant manager to then recruit and train other new agents. What was I thinking? I knew nothing about selling or life insurance, or life really, but the man made a compelling case and I accepted his offer. Luckily for me, he was a master coach and he guided me to succeed at the plan. I spent 2 years as an agent and 7 then as his assistant manager before I was hired away to be an agency manager for Pacific Life. I was with them for 6 years, a couple in Kansas City and then in Dallas. Now, Pacific Life sent me to Dallas to train the existing agents there to become new at this thing called financial planning. I thought it was a terrific idea. I was all in, but the agents didn't. So after a couple of years, I ventured out on my own and started a financial planning practice. Then things got really fascinating, challenging, and rewarding. Was I naive again? If you can identify with my experiences even a little bit, then you know I had no idea what I was getting into. But enough about me. Let me end by saying the man who originally hired me was right. After many years of long hours and learning the hard way, I was blessed to have a career that was indeed fascinating, challenging, and extremely rewarding in both ways. Now, 5 years ago, I realized that I needed to move on to the next phase in my life. But how? My firm had about $350 million in AUM. We were doing well, but we needed to upgrade our technology to develop better operating systems and career paths, to improve our investment expertise, and to replace me as the primary rainmaker. Now, I had 3 financial advisors who had been with me for at least 20 years. One was a son-in-law, and they wanted to buy the firm from me. And I was all for it. Over the years, I had sold to them or bonused them stock worth about 20% of the firm. But the value of the firm now had risen to be an amount that was going to be difficult for them to be able to finance. So I started to look for other options. I had 2 national firms express interest in buying the business. They both claimed to have everything I thought we needed to grow to the next level of professionalism and profit, while still allowing the 3 advisors to focus primarily on client interaction, which is what they were really good at. Both firms promised the sun, the moon, and the stars. However, after due diligence, I discovered they were just photographs of the sun, the moon, and the stars. So I pulled out of the negotiations. I knew I might be asking for too much. Until I met David Hefty from a small town in Indiana. He was very sharp and had built a solid firm slightly bigger than mine in much less time. So I listened to his ideas for creating a significant regional financial advisory firm through acquisition of like-minded successful firms. However, having been to the altar twice with the other firms, I was reluctant to move forward. Sensing my concerns, he offered to work with my firm for a year as a paid consultant to prove that his firm did have the tools, the resources, and the skills to build a substantial regional firm. I prayed about it, consulted with my 3 shareholders, and we all agreed to go for it. Well, the rest, as they say, is history. Team Hefty delivered on almost everything I had hoped for during that trial period, and we then merged with Hefty and another firm in a 2-step transaction that resulted in the creation of a new firm, Credent Wealth Advisors. Fast forward, I officially retired when the firms merged 2.5 years ago. My 3 advisors are shareholders in the new firm, as am I, although I have no responsibilities. I just collect dividend and loan payment checks quarterly. It's a pretty good deal. Since then, I've embarked on a new endeavor that so far has been fascinating, challenging, and partially rewarding. No profit yet, but making a difference and having fun with a totally new business in a totally different field. And it's in that same small town in Kansas where my adventure began. But that's a whole different story for another time. If any of my experience resonates with you, feel free to contact me. I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have. Key point though, remember that no solution is perfect, just like a good financial plan. You have to gather information, evaluate it, and construct solutions and a plan to reach your goals. We all know that very few plans are perfect at the outset. We have to make them perfect as we go along. So best wishes for your next phase of life. It might be your most successful phase.